Hey guys, what is happening? So I just read about George Floyd today, and I don't know about you guys, but I cannot keep on reading these stories, hearing these stories, knowing that this happens, and it just continues to happen day after day, week after week, and it's gotten to the point of incomprehensible. It's already always been incomprehensible, but now it's at a point of just, I don't want to say absurd, because the thing is, absurd makes it playful. Absurd makes it like, it's just beyond belief. And you hear these stories and you hear them not just once, but you hear them again and again and again, and it's the same story. And you wonder how it is that it continues to happen. And you know, 2 years ago or 2 falls ago, I went, because I couldn't understand, I couldn't wrap my head around the kind of violence that we are still, what we still are propensity with. I'm sorry, I'm very terrible at words sometimes. Our propensity towards violence is something that I cannot understand. That, you know, in thousands and thousands of years of human civilization, that somehow we haven't moved beyond that. Because the thing is, violence is so easy. Violence is our most easy of emotions, of our actions. Everything else beyond that takes a lot of fucking work. And so 2 years ago, in an effort to understand everything that has gone on in this country and this world and everything else like that, I took a road trip, and I followed the Civil Rights Trail, and I started in New York and went to started off going to Gettysburg, because a major Civil War battle took place there, and then I went down further, and my real journey began in North Carolina, in Greensboro, where there was the sit-in, where the Greensboro Four sat at a counter and protested to have the same inalienable rights that were set forth in the Constitution. And it didn't happen overnight. It took days and days and days and months. And it's amazing to me that these people risked their lives and everything else like that, and they still, to this day, are persecuted and murdered because of something so fucking stupid as skin color. That it doesn't make any sense. And if someone can justify it or something else, please let me know, because I can't justify this. It just, and the way, and it's not just what happens today. It's not just what happens in the 60s. It's what happened since the beginning of the history of slavery in America. And so when I went on this trip and I went to all these places, it's not that I didn't know that a lot of these other things happened. It was the extent to which they happened. It was the violence in which it happened. It was the story under story under story under story. It wasn't just this one event that took place and all of a sudden things began to change, or it wasn't just this group of events. It was years and years and years of events, and it began when this country was first formed, and it was something that happened throughout every civilization. But here's the deal. You go on these trips. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go on a trip, but something needs to happen where we, reconcile with our past. Like, I know that sounds maybe naive or hopeful or just plain dumb and stupid coming from a white woman or something, but if we don't do that, these crimes will continue to happen. And the thing is that we forget all of the crimes that led up to this happening. All right, so I took a lot of pictures when I went on this trip, and I'm going to show you. This is a picture of a cotton field. So you guys all see it? Now, from here, this cotton field, it looks as if this cotton grows high, right? It doesn't. I was stooping low to take this picture. It grows about 3 feet. And People were made to pick that cotton for days, weeks, years of their lives. And you see these cotton fields and you see the expanse of them, and you just wonder, like, how unbelievable. How unbelievable that someone thought, oh my God, I'm gonna get somebody else to do this for me. And not only am I gonna have them do it for me, I'm going to enslave them. I'm gonna strip away everything and just get them to do this. Now, something that I learned while I was, and I was so ignorant to this, but when people were first brought over to America, if they came into ports, if the plantation that they were sold to was far away, they were made to walk. It wasn't like there was train lines. It wasn't as if there was anything. They were made to walk. They didn't get a wagon or anything. They walked. And if some of them died along the way, people thought, so be it. And they died picking cotton. They died. The survival rate, the life expectancy of someone working in a rice field was so low. And it just it's things like this that when we learn about the history of our country, that we have to keep in mind about the brutality, the oppression, the enslavement, and how that continues to today. So that's a cotton field. And then it just, even after the Civil War and you know, blacks were freed, right away you had Jim Crow. Jim Crow was even more brutal than slavery. And then you learn, and I posted this on Facebook today, but you learn about lynchings. And it's so disgusting. But it's this idea that someone gets convicted. They didn't even get convicted of a crime, accused of a crime. And maybe they didn't even see the inside of a court of justice, because, you know, who gives a shit about justice, right? Who gives a shit about justice anywhere in this country? But they were accused, and then it was in the paper that a lynching would be had, and thousands of people would show up. Thousands of people would show up to go watch someone get hanged in the 20th century. This wasn't something that happened in the 19th century, in the 18th century. It's somewhere far away in the past. This is something that some people that are still alive today witnessed, lived through, maybe even, and it still happens. And it happened yesterday, and it happened to Ahmaud Arbery, and it just, until we really understand how not all of us have this moral compass, not all of us have this compassion. Some of us are just plain torturous and evil and cruel. And those people find it in their power to take the life of someone else just because they have this self-perceived power, or this power given to them by something, and it just keeps on happening. And you know, here's the jail cell that Martin Luther King was kept in. And that's the jail cell that he wrote letters from a Birmingham jail. You know, you have here, this is the Montgomery, this is the Civil Rights Museum in Montgomery. Each of these represents someone who was lynched, or many people that were lynched. They have records of thousands and thousands of people that were lynched throughout the states from when it was recorded. And you just look at them, and like, it goes by county, and it goes by some names. Some people go anonymous, and those are just the people they know of, and they collect the soil of where people were killed. And you can't, it's just crazy, you know? Like, here's a picture. This is a picture of the front yard of Medgar Evers' house, who was gunned down after midnight by a member of the KKK, only because he was speaking out for the rights of him and his people. And he was just shot with his children sleeping. Here's a bus a bus that was burned down during the bus boycott. Bus boycott. Because they just wanted to vote. Here's the church where 4 little girls were bombed, killed in Birmingham. That was colloquially known as Bombingham for the amount of violence that took place at that time. This is the shop. This is the place where Emmett Till was alive, and then he was brutally murdered. Here's the bridge that Martin Luther King and thousands of people walked across just to get to vote. They were stopped. And so, when these things continue to happen, as they have happened consistently for decades, you really just, I don't even, like, why? Please, someone answer me that, because I think about the history of the world. I think about these deaths, and I just want to know why. Why have we not done better? Why? Why don't we want to be better? Why do we just accept that this is okay? Because it's not okay. It's not okay that someone loses their life because someone else was told to be scared of them. Someone just please tell me why. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't know. So, if you're shaken by this, let us do something. I know people are working hard and they're talking about it and they're protesting and they're going out there, but my God, let us all do something. We have to. Can't. I want to know when my nieces and nephews grow up, when your children grow up, when your great-grandchildren grow up, that they are given a better world. Because we just keep on just taking their future away from them in so many ways. So, I don't know, maybe it's time to just really work all together to give them something, some future, something to look forward to, some unity and understanding instead of just violence and hate. I don't know, guys. Let's do something, you know?